Good morning. Good morning. This message really is to help you guys. As you guys go into different endeavors, as you guys meet new people and you start to build up your networks, it's about being okay or accepting your flaws or accepting the things that are not necessarily the norm for you. I'm going to give you an example of myself. My circle has changed drastically from my earlier years. A lot of people that I hang out with now are young professionals. A lot of them are married. They don't have any kids out of wedlock. They're building their homes and they're doing everything right. Me, on the other hand, I'm a little bit different than a lot of my friends. I'm married. I'm a young professional. I'm building, homeowner, things like that. But I also had a couple kids out of wedlock. And for them, that's not the norm. It's interesting how when you put yourself around people that's normal to them to have kids out of wedlock, to have kids at an early age, to go into a different type of people, sometimes it's uncomfortable to the extent of, I'll never denounce my kids. I always acknowledge my kids. I love my kids. Those are my responsibilities. They didn't actually come into this world. So this conversation is not going that direction. But at the same time, you do get looked at differently. You do get judged. Regardless of all the good that you do, people are always going to seek out the bad or what they view as being bad. And so you want to make sure that you set that standard for yourself, that you are comfortable with your flaws and your mistakes, because little do you know, those people that are looking at you, there's always somebody at a distance not saying anything, because a lot of times they could be going through the same thing and you can help that person build. But it's just interesting how every time that you elevate yourself, you're going to get more and more uncomfortable. And that's why I always want to tell you, be comfortable with your flaws. As you progress, and whether it's in the corporate world, you're going to be with people that grew up with both parents. You're going to be with people that went to Ivy League schools. You're going to be with people that grew up with a silver spoon. Maybe you didn't grow up with that silver spoon, so your ways of thinking, or some things that you view as morally incorrect, is going to be different. And sometimes, I've been around people who grew up, in project environments and then go on to an Ivy League school, but when they get to the Ivy League school and they get amongst other young professionals, they're not talking about their past, they're ashamed of it. But sometimes people can respect you more when you're honest. I'm not saying that you have to be boastful about it. I'm not saying that you have to just tell it. My main thing is, unless it's brought up, or if it's a conversation that's brought up or you're asked it, it's nothing that you have to really showcase, nothing that you have to broadcast or feel like you got to advertise. But what I'm saying is, within yourself, understand your flaws and don't let that set you apart from anybody else. It's very important. I think a lot of times we compare ourselves so much to other people through the social media, to where you feel like you have to put on a front or facade. And I think a lot of times it stops us from growing, because then we go back to where we're comfortable at. Some of y'all might be hood dudes, the hood that's comfortable for you. So you stay there because there's more people like you that done the things that you do, make these mistakes that you make, and that's the norm. But you have to break yourself out of that, out of what's the norm. What's really going to be beneficial for you. That's why I make it a point, teaching these kids that you need to do it the right way. It might not work out, you getting married and having kids the normal way, but at the same time, at least you tried to build a right foundation on the right principles. But it's a lot of things that we do that I know we have regrets, but at the same time, it didn't happen. Now you have to find a way to build through that and make it work for the best. But I want y'all to have a good day. Stay blessed, and just remember, accept who you are, where you came from, the mistakes that you've made. It's only time for you to move forward. Have a good day.